gratitude, just spending time and being thankful for the things that we do have, the main trigger point for that is that we don't get complacent with what we have.
Welcome to the Business of Parenting podcast. Tune in as we discuss the principles of successful parenting as a business professional. Here's your host, Jason Harris.
Let's talk a little bit about this gratitude thing, because I think this is a cool idea, and I don't necessarily maybe do it. So can we go a little bit farther down the rabbit hole that is the gratitude and how you kind of, execute that on a daily basis?
Yeah, they all have. I'll give an example because I've got one in here. So I have composition notebooks, and I've got they have something like this, just something that's not too big. But yeah, they just every single morning just write down, 5 to 10 things that you're super thankful for. What are you appreciative of? And break it down to the ridiculous, like the fact that you woke up and you had a bed this morning, the fact that, that you can stretch and touch your toes. But that gratitude, just spending time and being thankful for the things that we do have, the main trigger point for that is that we don't get complacent with what we have, because I feel like that happens even for myself personally. Like sometimes you can look up, there's things that you push so hard for, but then once you got it, it's like it's not that important to you anymore. It's like you almost push it off to the side. And I think there's power in really reminding yourself of where you've gotten, like just taking time to be thankful. And, me and my wife did it this morning, just talking and just spending thanks about so many things that we're thankful for. And again, it's just those vibes that it gives off and the way that it makes you feel. So teaching kids at an early age, because I think as we get older, Jason, we know how to appreciate things a little bit better. But I feel like kids, if we have kids that we're trying to give them a life that maybe we didn't get as kids, I feel like sometimes one of the worst things that happens to them is now they become complacent and they start expecting these things. Like nothing's really surprising them as much anymore because they've gotten so much or they've been fortunate, but they need to make sure that they're always taking time, because I don't care who you are on this planet. I mean, anything could happen today or tomorrow that could just strip almost everything away from us. And so making sure that we're spending time to be gratitude, it just changes their mindset and their attitude for the whole day to be like, you know what, I'm here, super excited to be alive. And my goal is to make somebody else's life a little bit better today.
Man, I love that. I'm talking about some intentionality, right? We both know one of the biggest keys success to being successful. I need my coffee.
It's okay. Successful.
In business is to be intentional with our time. Yep. When we're not intentional with our time, then, the day will just kind of run us. We don't necessarily, run the day. And, if we're not intentional, we'll never execute on a routine. We might every once in a while. We get lucky, right? Like maybe some things kind of align and we're like, hey, I executed the routine. But if I'm not intentional in my preparation leading up to the routine, there's a lot of, it's a Swiss cheese now of a routine. There's a lot of open holes in there, man. And I love this gratitude. It's being intentional gratitude. And I think this is kind of a good segue into work-life balance, which is our next topic, because talk about, trying to maintain that quote unquote unicorn that is, work-life balance. You have to be intentional in those efforts. But I also think there's a lot of misconception about what work-life balance is. There's this, I think people kind of see this because the key word is balance here. They kind of see this like this scale. And this scale, on one side of the scale is my work, and then the other side of my scale is this life. And for some reason, they have to be completely in par. If I work 60 hours on my business, and I must work 60 hours I'm at home with my kids and everything. And I don't necessarily think that's the truth. I think the term work-life balance causes probably more anxiety and pressure than anything else out there.
Thanks for tuning in to the Business of Parenting podcast with your host, Jason Harris. Don't want to miss new content? Be sure to check out the full podcast library at strategywithjason.com to stay in the know. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Happy podcasting.